NFTs are growing in popularity and there are lots of people entering the market now. Of course, a majority of these people are either artists or creators, and that makes sense because in simple terms, an NFT is digital art. You might have heard about the millions of dollars that are being spent on this kind of art. For example, Mike Beeple sold his NFT for $69 million at the first ever NFT auction at Christie's. Now, this might look promising, but for the NFT industry to continue its growth, the secondary market also needs to do well. What is the secondary NFT market? It is the market where NFTs are resold to customers who did not get the chance to buy the original piece when it was first released. It is completely legal and it is actually the reason why original NFTs are sold at such expensive prices in the first place. There's always been great demand for exclusive art and this market makes use of that demand. Now, this is the same as what happens with traditional art, but the biggest advantage with NFTs is that they are bought and sold on the blockchain software. So, the original creator's name will always be visible and no one can change that. This saves a lot of legal expenses for artists and the people who want to resell the artwork. As of right now, the secondary market is growing at a fast pace, but is mainly focusing on high-value artists. My research shows me that secondary NFT sales fetch higher prices than the primary sales values. This is mainly because the sellers raise the average base price of an NFT when they list it on the selling platforms. However, this is still very new and it is important to give more time to understand the value of reselling NFTs in the long run. The reason I am saying this is because a lot of the high-value NFTs have not been put up for resale at any auctions, so we still don't know whether someone is willing to spend $70 or $80 million for an NFT, like the one made by Beeple. To help you understand this world better, I am going to give you a tutorial on the secondary market and how to make money from it even if you don't create art. The process of buying an NFT and then reselling it in the secondary market is called flipping an NFT. There have been a few cases of a successful NFT flip. For example, an NFT by X copy called Reflection was first sold for $98,500. It was then listed for reselling and went to an art collector named 4156 for $872,500. That is more than 8.5 times the original selling price. However, this does not mean that all types of NFTs will be so successful. Leading experts from the NFT industry have said that the secondary market will definitely grow, but art pieces such as trading card collectibles and digitally signed photographs will not work out in the long term because they are meant for a large number of customers. They believe that unique and exclusive art pieces from recognized artists and musicians will have a great resale value and will dominate the secondary markets moving ahead into the future. So, if you are trying to break into the secondary market of NFT reselling, then you should do your research only on exclusive NFTs or NFTs that are made by popular artists. Now, you might think that NFTs are only meant to be bought by rich people, but that is not always the case. There are lots of artists that are trying to break into the NFT marketplace, and they are willing to sell their art for prices as low as $40. But then, how do they make money? In order to understand this, let me explain what an NFT drop is. This is when an artist releases their NFTs on a marketplace to be sold to the members of that marketplace. An NFT drop usually lasts for only a certain amount of time. It can vary between a few hours to one day to even a week. By minting many copies of the same art, the artist can make more money if they sell more copies. The best part for the artist here is that they have the choice to sell each copy in the format of an auction. The buyers will have to bid for the copy that they are buying. So even if the starting price is $40, the actual sale can go as high as even $1,000. That will depend on how valuable the art appears to the customers. An NFT drop usually limits the number of NFTs that the artist can mint, but even if they mint 100 NFTs at $40 each, they can potentially earn up to $4,000 in just a few hours. Please note that I am giving you these examples in dollars, but the transactions will be done through cryptocurrencies like Ether. $4,000 in an hour is great income, and as long as artists continue to create, they can continue to earn. What's better for you is that you can buy and sell this art for an even higher value in the secondary market. You will need a certain budget, but you won't need millions of dollars to start. It's even better for you if you are an artist because you can sell your original NFT and add a clause where you will earn royalties each time your NFT is sold to another customer. One helpful tip is to buy a copy through a friend or a family member. You can then resell that copy at a higher price and also earn the royalties from it. This strategy might not work all the time, but the risk is fairly low for you because you are already making money by minting and selling your original NFTs. If you want to learn how to mint an NFT, then subscribe to my channel and check out my previous video. It tells you all you need to know about minting NFTs. The secondary market has grown so much already that it almost makes up half of the total NFT market. One of the most popular platforms for reselling NFTs is SuperRare. It has seen an increase in transactions since March 2021. If it continues to grow at this pace, then the secondary market will become the most popular space to sell digital art, and that is very exciting for people who are neither artists nor art collectors. If you are looking for a few reliable platforms to buy NFTs, I suggest Mintable, Axie Infinity, and Foundation. You can learn more about buying NFTs in another video where I've covered the process in detail. Now, I am going to give you a tutorial on the process of reselling an NFT. I will use the OpenSea NFT marketplace as my example because it has the highest volume of buying and selling transactions. First, you must go to your OpenSea profile by clicking on your profile icon on the upper right corner of the screen. Scroll down to view the art that you have bought. Another way to do this is to click on Create in the same upper right corner and then click on My Collections. Once you are there, you can click on the art that you want to sell and then click on the Sell button. Now, you need to choose how you want to sell your work. You have two choices. You can either set a fixed price by clicking on Set Price, or you can start an auction by clicking on Highest Bid. If you want to set a fixed price, then you will enter the amount in the Price tab. If you want to go ahead with an auction, then you will be able to set a starting bid, a reserve price, and the length of the auction. Let me make this a little simpler for you to understand. The starting bid amount is the amount that you will list for your potential customers, but a reserve price is the lowest amount that your buyers can bid. For example, you can set your starting bid at $100, but your reserve price can be $50. This way, if a customer wants to bid lower than the starting bid, they can do it, but they cannot bid any amount that is less than $50. I strongly suggest that you keep the length of the auction to a maximum of 24 hours. This will create scarcity value for your customers and can help your art fetch higher prices. When NFTs are sold through auctions, you can accept an offer at any time. Let me give you an example. You have put one copy of your NFT up for auction and your starting bid is $100. One customer might bid $200 for it and you can accept their offer at this moment, but that will end the auction and you will not know if there were other buyers who were willing to pay a higher price for your art. I suggest that you wait for the auction to end because the highest bid by then will win. If the auction ends and all the offers are below your starting bid, then you can decide whether you want to accept the highest offer amongst them or not. The last step is to set the bounties. A bounty is the percentage you are willing to pay affiliates to connect you to potential buyers. If you are reselling NFTs, you can also sign up to become an affiliate. Basically, by setting a bounty, you increase your visibility to other members on OpenSea, and that helps with your sales volume. Remember that OpenSea will automatically receive a bounty of 2.5% because it is providing you with a sales platform. It is your choice if you want to pay a higher percentage to another affiliate who might connect you to a rich buyer. The concept of bounties is very detailed, so I might cover them later in a separate video. One more thing that you should remember is that the original creator of the NFT will also receive a royalty if they had mentioned it when they created the art. So choose your prices and your bounties accordingly. Now, click on Post Your Listing, and your NFT will be listed for sale. Please remember that you must have enough funds in your wallet to be able to pay for the gas fees for starting your account and setting the artwork for sale. You will receive a confirmation email from OpenSea when your NFT has been sold. Reselling NFTs is very similar to selling original replicas of art. You can build a great network on platforms like OpenSea by doing things like attracting affiliates with higher bounty rates or by hosting frequent NFT drops. You should start small, so try to look out for artists that sell their NFTs at lower prices. Collect these art pieces one by one, and then resell them later at a higher price to make good profits. If you want to check out other NFT auction platforms, then I suggest signing up to Nifty Gateway. They don't need you to sign in with an Ethereum wallet at first, and you can do your research on what kinds of NFTs are selling and what are the average prices for them. This information will help you pick and choose what you want to buy and sell later in the secondary market. If you want, you can also buy NFTs from this marketplace. I hope this video has increased your knowledge about NFTs, and most importantly, I hope that you are more confident now to get into this industry even if you are not a creator or an art collector. This industry is meant for everyone, and this is only the beginning. Show your support by liking and sharing this video so that I know this is a market that you want me to cover in more detail. Feel free to leave any suggestions in the comments. I am doing this to help you, so I will be happy to see what you are interested in, and where you want to learn about. Subscribe to my channel and check out all my previous videos in case I have already covered something that you want to learn. I look forward to seeing you again.